Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Thursday, and it is December 15th. This will be our chart lesson for today, and this is going to wrap up our week. I'm pretty sure I'm going to take off tomorrow, so this is going to wrap it up for the year for me. No chart lessons and no mid-morning charts for the next couple of weeks through the end of the year. So the trading is going to continue to slow down. Today was a really great day. Nice downtrend with lots of trades, lots of options today. So far, prices have not really made that big rebound that they usually make. They're trying, and they've tried a couple times, and they beat it back down. We're getting close to being in oversold territory already. Anything past this purple line would be oversold. It's yet to see if we're going to. I mean, there's still probably 40 minutes left in today's trading day, so they could rally this thing. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all. They do it every day. They beat this thing down and then rally it back. And so, will they do that today? I don't know. This is a really big down day, and they keep trying to rally it and they beat it back down. So, it looks like we're going lower now as I'm speaking. So, um, I wouldn't be surprised to see if we close near the lows today. It's such a negative day. But they've tried everything to keep this market going higher. And so far today, it looks pretty bearish. So, anyway, this is going to wrap it up again for the year. If you would, hold your emails for trading questions and things like that because I won't answer them going forward through the end of the year. Um, and when I come back, I'm going to be so far behind that I won't have time to come back and answer any older questions and things like that. So, I would appreciate it and thank you for holding them. And, the forum's still there. I'm sure people will still be studying, and um, I'll try to check in a couple times over the next couple of weeks, but I'm pretty much going to take the time off, and I need it. And I've got this situation going on with my mother, and I'm going to try to spend a little more time trying to get her situated, and so I'm going to be really distracted anyway. So, um, hope everybody has great holidays and enjoys the time off, enjoys the trading break. I would say try to take as much time off as you can because the volume, we'll probably still have some good trading days in there, but the volume does generally tend to dry up these last couple of weeks. Closer you get to Christmas and that last week between Christmas and New Year's, generally there's not much going on at all. So any trading days that are half days, don't try to trade those days. Take them off. So anyway, that kind of takes care of our end of the year business. I'm doing this a little early. It's a pretty big trading day, so there's a few more trades, and I've got enough somewhere I have to be at 5, so I'm going to try to wrap this thing up and wrap up this week and wrap up my year. Um, anyway, let's look at the chart here. You can see the big bearish day, and they're trying to. There's some support right along this level right here, around 39.20 or so, and they're trying to break it lower there. Really struggling. Don't know if they'll get through there or not this time, or we might bounce a couple times before they push it through. If they get through there, I imagine we're going to retest the lows for the day. If not, we may bounce a little more, and we could bounce a little more anyway. And I guarantee they're going to try to close this thing higher so it doesn't end up so bearish. But we'll see. But let's flip over to the 2000 tick chart and we'll see what it looks like. There's actually a steeper downtrend early with a correction, and then the flatter, more natural trend that's been the rest of the day. And we have traded outside that downtrend at this point, but we haven't closed for a new low yet. So it looks like we're attempting to make that new low. Whether or not it'll happen, I just can't say. Um, I mean, these lows around 39.20 are very far away from the EMA, so we're due for a little pullback here anyway. So I don't know if they're going to get them through this first go round or not. It may take them another attempt. And if they attempt too many times and don't get through, then it's probably going to bounce and go higher. So it's a little hard to know what they're going to get prices to do here. But let's flip over to that chart and take a look at it. Okay, here's a look at it. And you can see that support right around 39.20 or so, and we did push on through it. So prices are trying to push lower. Uh, if we can get through there and continue lower, my guess is we'll make a new low before this stage is over. So, but here's our original trend, and then we went into this flatter trend. You see here, actually, this has moved on me. I don't know why this does this sometimes. And then we started another flatter trend here, and we've had the break outside, and we're trying to push lower now. So really bearish. I'm not even sure how big a move this is today. Just going from the high to the low. I mean, it's well over 130, 40 points there. So if you could catch a runner on that, you're really rocking and rolling. I mean, even if you caught one from early on up here, it's a pretty good day. Just curious if you caught one up here. Held on all day. You're looking at 75 points or so. It's really hard to catch a runner like that. Most of us are going to exit before then, especially on some of these bigger bounces. It's just hard to hold through those. If you can do that, more power to you. It's hard for me. I really struggle to do that. I hate to see, there's nothing worse than having $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 in your profit and then watching it all evaporate, and hoping you'll get a bigger move after that. I'd just rather exit, take my money, and then wait for a new setup and enter all over again. That's what's work. That's what works for me. Some people struggle with that and would rather hang on and get the long-term trades, and that's good if you can do that. But I struggle with it personally, so um, that's what led me to this strategy to begin with. I'd always see a profit and I'd watch it evaporate, and a lot of times turn into a big loser. And one day I said, I'm just going to start taking my profits, and I started scalping and taking profits, and the rest is history. So that's really what led me to all this. But anyway, let's zoom in here. We had all the negative news at 7:30 this morning. So you really just needed to wait on that. And by 7:45 or so, things were looking pretty good. I mean, we didn't really get that big craziness out of the retail sales and manufacturing this morning, although those are all economically related. So, but we didn't get the big moves. I think honestly, prices were still concentrating on the big picture that we had left over from yesterday with another rate hike, and you can clearly see that we ran back up here to these highs and got a second entry short. I don't know that I'd wait for that signal bar to close and go short below it, because you do have the EMA to be a little bit concerned about, although this is a really strong downtrend. And so you may even go short there, but I like just going short on the engulfing bar. I mean, the engulfing bar is 7 ticks, so it makes it a real low risk entry when it breaks higher and turns down. Just go short 1 tick below that. You got plenty of room back to the EMA. It's a second entry. I like entering it that way, to be honest. I'm not sure I would enter down here. I'd probably mark it green if you were going to enter down here 1 tick below that. So it runs on down, gets a break, comes back. And I drew this trend off these original little swings here. And it turns down right there, and it comes back twice. So you really get a triple test there and a lower high after a close outside and a new high, and then a lower high at the triple test, and a nice signal bar way away from the EMA again, and maybe off a key entry point. So I like going short right there, and that's a nice move. Runs down, you get a close outside. Then we're working sideways. We're still in this bigger blue channel though, and you get another triple test here with a nice signal bar right off the highs of the range in a downtrend. Just go short there. There's a second entry here, but the signal bar's not very good. And then we've moved too far. We're getting too far away from the EMA. Technically in a downtrend, I mean, that's a strong trend. That's those little, you see all the little dojis, and the corrections are very shallow. Honestly, when you see that, you can go short off any signal bar that looks decent off the You really didn't know it was this strong until it got on down here. So I would say maybe starting, you might, that looks a little congested there, but maybe starting right here, here. Here's another one. You need to know what you're doing on this. Guaranteed, somebody will send me a chart in a few days, and it'll be some minor little channel, and it won't look anything like this, and they'll be trying to take shorts off all these, and they'll be saying, why did it fail? I just showed you, you just showed in a chart lesson how to do this, and it's not working. And so you have to, these are advanced trades, but somebody that looks at this and understands what's going on here, I probably wouldn't take that last one because you've already had a close outside and a new low. But if you understand what these trends look like, notice how the corrections are just very shallow. There's lots of dojis, lots of sideways, but it just keeps going lower and lower and lower. And we're already in a huge downtrend day. So if you see that, every time you get a good signal bar off that key entry point, even this far away from the EMA, you generally can take those. So just keep an eye on them. And I would say don't trade those live until you've had some experience with them and you know what you're doing, but maybe practice on it on the sim trade. But don't be surprised if you screw it up, if you don't understand what's going on. You need to, again, that's a very advanced trade, but they're very lucrative. And I mean, here it is going up. I wouldn't take anything to the upside yet because we're still in a bigger downtrend, but that's a strong trend that looks just the same. And you can see just about any signal bar that looks good off the key entry point is probably a good trade. But notice we get a break, move to a new high, and you get a lower high right here that breaks higher. Again, I like that on the engulfing bar, just to ride it back to the EMA. Because we did just come off the lows, although we already had a break in new high here, so we may start lower again. And then we end up just chopping sideways. I don't see any trades there. And then, of course, we're headed back to the other side here now. Don't be trying to go long in there. I don't see any shorts here. This was a possibility that really sticks out there. But that's really the first convincing close outside because technically this is probably off that swing right there. And so that leads me to say, hey, I'm going to wait and just to make sure we don't push for a new high. And that's exactly what happens. And then it goes lower. So just sit tight there. We run down here. We get back in. Notice how we adhere to the trend line there. Then we try to go higher. We adhere to it again. But I'd also draw this new trend line across here just in case something flatter comes along. And this turns out to be a really great move. And again, there's that, I didn't draw the downtrend here, but it's another strong downtrend, and you can see those signal bars and how weak the corrections are. So there's you some more of them you could probably take if you want to be a little more aggressive on a strong downtrend day. We bounce here, close outside, new high. That's two sideways there. There is a lower high here, but again, it looks a little congested, and you can see it just keeps working sideways. But finally, you get a little failed breakout and a lower high right off that. You might even take that trade, but I'd kind of like to wait on a lower high there just to be sure we're going to continue lower. And that is the first close outside, so it may try to attempt a new high. But this is sideways mostly. So I like going short there. And again, another nice move. And then you get a failed second entry long here. Notice that first entry, second entry. The failure is when it breaks below that bar, but your signal bar has to go one tick above this bar because that makes the highest point in the swing. And that drops on down. The key here is you got enough room to get out before those lows, but we'd already pushed through it, so there's a good chance you'll test these lows instead of this low. And notice we bounce right back in there pretty quickly. Again, we're not looking for any longs, only shorts here. Just don't take any longs. You can see any long trend doesn't last long. You get a break, two legs up, and then you get a second entry short right here. Notice the new swing low, First entry, second entry, right off that key entry point again. And that pretty much confirmed it there, but that definitely confirms it. And off it goes again. And if you can catch these entries off these key entry points on a big day like this, you get guaranteed runners almost. Look at it go. I marked this one again. It's a first entry, second entry when it breaks lower right there. It looks a little sideways, but technically those are just up down bars. It just can't really get up any mustard, up any strength to get back. And it's just moving back to the trend line, and then boom, the bottom falls out again. And then now we bounce off the low end of the channel. And instead of really rallying, it just works sideways. I mean, it shows you the market's really weak. This is the first break of this yellowish khaki, and there's a double top and lower high right there, and that's a second entry short. I like going short right there. It's a little iffy because we really just came off the low end here, but this thing is weak, and and you can see prices just can't really rally back. It was kind of hard to know that just right here, but I still think you can get a scalp out of that. It's just a little aggressive. So we get a little failed breakout here. I don't see any entries here. Another failed breakout, and then you get a lower high right back in, closes right into the inside of the range again. I like going short there, just hoping it'll go back to the other side and maybe it continues lower again. Comes back again. I marked this one red. I went back and forth over this one, but technically it triggers a second entry right here, so that would be a failure. And it's also a second entry short counting from the lows. So, and you could see prices tried to go higher there, and they're making lower highs in this last high. So I like that one. It takes it a minute, but it works out, and then suddenly it bounces. And when it came up short 2 more times here, that's showing you it's building a little strength. Don't try to go long, just don't go short anymore. See what happens. And of course it does. It runs up here and it gets a break outside. Notice we get a close outside and we come back. You only have a first entry. It's moved a little far to be a lower entry, but it's right off that key entry point, and it could take off again. So I kind of like that trade. The key is, do you have enough room to scalp out? And you really don't there. So if it breaks lower and you could drop a limit order in and get a little bit of a little better entry before it goes too far. If it went all the way down here and comes back, don't take that entry, because it's already made a new low and then bouncing again. So the key would be if you could just get in it right away a tick or two when it's only just broke lower and maybe backs up for just a second. But if by the time it's moved this far, don't wait on it to come back and refill you there, because you see you would have got burned. There's too much chance for something to go wrong for that to happen if it's traded way down here and then bounces back. But if you can get in before it makes a new low here, because technically that's 2 legs down, and now you got a second entry long, and you see it rallies on out of there, and you might make a measured move based on that, and you can see that's pretty much what happens. So, but then you get your second leg up, you get a close outside, couple legs up to a new high, and then you get a second entry short with a nice signal bar. And that makes another great move. It would have been another nice entry. Then you get a close outside, new low, and you're rocketing up. But don't try to go long yet. And that takes us into 230. And you can see we tried to rally there, and we pushed lower again. That 39.20 was just really tough to get through right there. And we're probably going to close right in here somewhere. Might be my guess. We might push. We could bounce. We're still way away from the MA. We hadn't come back yet, so it wouldn't surprise me if we rally here into the 4 o'clock, but we may just close right in that area. You see how slow it's gotten. I mean, we hadn't even seen a contract tick off here. There's a couple. So my guess is the trading day is basically over here. Doesn't mean somebody can't come in and close out a bunch of shorts or close out a bunch of longs and turn it down or whatever. So, but it looks like it's not much happening now. The volume and volatility is really slowed down. So anyway, there it is. Another look at it from a distance. I know I kind of rushed through that, but I'm eager to just get this day and this week wrapped up and this year wrapped up. So again, I wish all the best of you. Happy New Year to everybody in advance. Happy holidays to everybody. Um, I'm gonna probably wrap it up here. I might come in for an hour in the morning, but I'm still probably not gonna do a midday chart even if I do. But I probably won't even come in tomorrow. So that's the whole idea of kind of wrapping it up today and just starting my holiday tomorrow. Lots to do for me. Lots still going on with my mother. Continue to keep her in your prayers. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the notes I get and continued notes about prayers and so forth for her. She certainly needs it. We need it. My family needs it. And I'm going to wrap it up. Not much else I can say about this day. And I'm going to get my end of the year started, vacation. And I wish all of you the best. Good trades to everybody. Have a great holiday, and we'll see you next year. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next